Next Best Comic with Dr. Lynn. Thanks for tuning in to Next Best Comic with Dr. Lynn. This program showcases stand-up comics and comedians that are on their way to superstardom. Please be advised this show is for mature audiences due to coarse language, sexual content, and topics that may offend. I'm Lynn Perreault. I have a PhD in psychology with expertise in applying human social behavior to leadership, performance, and business systems. Together, we will explore controversial social behaviors through the eyes of a comic. Are you ready? Today's topic is love behaving badly, and I have with me Michael Geeter. Thank you so much for being here.
This is awesome. I don't know if I came on the right topic, but
I thought love behaving badly would be a pretty cool topic. Yeah. Not for any particular reason. I'm not trying to start any gossip about you.
That's how you get famous these days. So I need all the gossip I can get.
So I'm just wondering, let's just start with the heart stuff. Let's start with the feeling stuff. Okay. Have you ever been heartbroken?
Oh, God. I was heartbroken at least 6 times driving over here today. Sure. Who hasn't? Who hasn't? Yeah, I mean, at every level, at every decade of my life, I have been heartbroken. Yes.
What was the worst? Can you tell us that story? Is it tellable?
Oh, boy. Wow, the worst. There was a time I dated this young lady when I was in high school. She was a few years younger than I was. And her mother didn't want us to continue dating because she was white, I'm black, and we got along really well. I really liked this girl. But I was, again, we were kids. And her mother didn't want us to date because I was black. And that was the first time I really experienced racism. But I really liked this girl. And years later, that I found out the answer. I didn't know why her mother didn't want us to date at the time. But later on, I ran into her, the girl that I dated, now a woman, don't get it wrong. And she explained to me what the situation was. And it was something that she couldn't do. She couldn't go against her mother. But that was hurtful. That was very hurtful.
I can imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's unfortunately that is still something that affects people.
Yes. Yeah, across the board. And I mean, I've had many other heartbreaks since then, but that's the one that always seems to stick out for me.
Yeah. It was over something that you can't control.
Absolutely couldn't control. And I was such a cool kid, man. I was so smart and so outgoing at the time, and I had my little confidence and all that, and I just wrecked it. It wrecked it. Then I just went downhill and just started dating and marrying horrible people. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You'll have a slew. You'll have a slew of exes now bad talking
just a
you.
Heap of women that hated me for. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I mean, again, there have been other heartburns and heartbreaks, but. Yeah, that was the one that sticks out the most.
Now, how do you get over heartbreak? Like, is there a specific system that you have, a process that you have in order to get through it?
Yeah, I don't want to be, you see these movies and women and men, they have, breakups and heartbreaks, and then they go off into drinking or binge eating or something like that. I start writing poetry. And when I'm upset or bothered, I write the most poetic stuff you'll ever read. Like, I have emails from when I was so angry that I had written that I kept for decades because they were so well written. And I'm like, wow, man, there's a lot of heat, a lot of emotion in that. So now I write poetry and short stories and stuff like that. And that's how I get through it. I don't want to develop any bad habits. That's the one thing. That's my bad habit, is not developing bad habits.
Okay.
So, I don't drink too much, I don't smoke, and I don't do, drugs and all of that. So, I don't even like to sleep too long. So I don't want any bad habits. So I try to turn my heartbreak into something more artistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Something productive.
Something productive.
Because everyone knows about moderate drinking,
Yes.
moderate eating,
Yes.
moderate sleeping, but no one really knows about the moderate poetry.
No, and there's no such thing. When I write poems, and I'm upset, it's I can write for days and weeks, and it's some of the most heartfelt stuff that I've ever written. So I can say emotional. I get a little emotional sometimes.
Would
I'm not
you?
gonna say there's like tear-stained papers, but there are.
Well, you don't have to lift it up and then just kind of shake it in the air to dry it out.
Like, why did she do this? Or something? No.
Now, do you memorize some of your poetry? Because I know the question that people are asking themselves as they listen is,
Right.
come on, share some poetry.
No, I don't
A
memorize.
line? A line. Oh, come on.
I don't memorize. The reason why I don't memorize is it's my therapy. It's like it's a dump. And so it's an emotional dump. If that sounds right. I don't know if that sounds. I don't know if that's
It's
a technical term.
A purging.
Yes, a purging, emotional dump. That's. I've been accused of that as well. But
Just right, standing up, sitting down.
But I purge all of my emotions out and put it in verse form, and I don't memorize it.
Will there be a Michael Geeter collection of poems at some point?
Funny you should ask. I have been collecting poems and short stories that I've done over the years, and I would like to make a book called Love and Hate. And
Yay!
the idea, well, the gist of the book is on one side of the book is the love side, and you flip the book over to read the hate poems, and those poems kind of mirror one another because they're, the old song, there's a thin line between love and hate, and there really is. So for every poem that I've written about love or good vibes or feelings and all that between two people, there could be something just as dark and sinister about it between those same two people. So I just wanted to showcase that, and I already have it in my head how it's going to look. So yeah, there will be.
Very
so
cool.
Stay tuned.
So it's literally the flip side of love, and the flip side
there you go.
of love.
Yeah, see, I'm a thinker.
You are a thinker, a feeler.
A feeler. My emotes.
A writer.
I emote.
Yes, you do. Now, I heard a rumor that you were thinking of learning to emote dramatically.
Yes.
Will you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I've been in a couple of short films over the years, and I've always thought of myself as an entertainer, not just a comedian and all. I could sing, and I've acted before in plays, and I've always wanted to be in a musical. Try to sing a little bit. I was offered a role in The Full Monty, actually, a couple years ago, and I kind of regret not doing it, even though you had to be nude for part of it. You couldn't see anything, because of shadows and all. That's what they say, but or at least that's what they told me. But I've always wanted to be in movies, and I decided, I'm going to take some acting lessons and screenwriting lessons, because I have a couple of ideas for movies, comedies that I would like to get out there that have been swimming in my head, and I actually have a musical that I'd like to do that's been songs and ideas just been swimming in my head for the last 12 years or so. So I really want to get at that. I really want to go full bore acting, singing. I basically want to be Jamie Foxx, but more handsome.
All right. All right.
At least that's what my mama would tell me.
Yeah.
Hey, you're more handsome than him. You're more talented. So, yeah, I'm getting into it. I'm going full bore.
Awesome. So, would your play be related to, like, is it a love story?
Funny you should ask. You're like hitting all of the points, the high points there. It is. It's called Work the Musical.
I swear we have not spoken about this. This is not planned. This is complete improv, I swear.
No, people, we have not.
We're vibing.
That's synchronicity, man. Yeah. It's called Work the Musical.
Uh-huh.
And it's about this young man and woman who are attracted to one another, and they work together, and they're trying to tell each other how they feel about one another in the landscape of an office, situation. And yeah, there are songs out there. There's a song that I have about ethics, and because I just think ethics at work, it's like, come on, especially if you work at some of the places I've worked. And
How? But I have to keep that thought. How
yes,
do you do a song about ethics? Because in my psychology grad school courses,
uh,
we had, ethics in quite a
of
few of the
course.
class ethics, classes, and we also had a course in ethics, and in undergraduate, we had ethics as well. So how in the world do you turn that into a song, an entertaining song? Because ethics can be quite dry
Exactly, exactly,
and subjective some of the
exactly,
time.
exactly. Yeah, and the song that I have is the ethics person is spelling out ethics to try to make it more fun for the people who have to take this ethics training. Right, and
ETHICS.
each letter stands for something, and I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but each of the letters stands for something, and, it's a really poppy song, but ethics, everyone knows it's boring. It's just boring and dry, but, I'm going to try to make it fun, and, yeah, yeah. So there's it's a cool idea. There's another song about prairie dogging. Whenever something goes wrong, someone gets fired, or whatever, people start popping out of their cubicles like prairie dogging. They're just, up and down. And
And that's a pop song too?
that's a poppy song too. And the main theme is about love and how these people find each other. And it's gonna work. It's gonna be on Broadway. I envision this. I could see this on Broadway.
Now, who's going to be in it?
I don't know yet. I don't know
Have
yet.
you visualized that piece?
I have I can see the boss guy is like a Matthew Broderick type of person. Um and even the boss guy has a song in it where it's you know, a very sad song because he wants to be friends and included in all of these different things with his coworkers, but he can't because he's a boss.
Hmm.
And it's very I can see it as a very operatic type of song. But yeah, and the he passes through each scene, and as he passes through, everyone pretends like they're working really hard. Then when he leaves, and then the song, it's in my head. Like I said, it's in my head. We'll talk about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we're talking about love behaving badly, I mean, we can go into scenarios of dating,
Yes.
marriage, divorce, in-laws, family members, parents,
Pick
gosh,
three. I've
friendship.
experienced all of it. All of it. So
Have you ever had a friend breakup, like a real friend heartbreak? It wasn't necessarily a woman, like it wasn't a romantic relationship, but just someone like a best friend, and it just completely, there was some bad social behavior involved and it broke your heart. Is that something you would be willing to share?
oh yeah, yeah. One very close friend, I considered him like a brother to me, and I kind of looked like a little brother. I kind of looked out for him and all, and um, we would always hang out together. We'd do a lot of stuff together. We would travel to when I was going through my actually after my divorce. We would travel to Toronto. Like we were there like a couple times a month um, with another friend. And this guy was like a little brother to me. And right around the time I started getting into comedy, he just felt that, even though we were friends, I wasn't including him in on a lot of things like my daughter's birthday party. My daughter at the time was like 3. Like I wouldn't invite him over that because he's like, hey, real friends would do that. And I'm like, dude, she's a 3-year-old kid. Why would you want to be at a 3-year-old kid's birthday party type of thing? And he took it very personally. And I couldn't understand. I still to this day, I don't understand why he took it so personally, especially with all the things that we've experienced. Um, uh, and helping him through his relationship and me going through my relationship breaking up and all. I took that one hard. Still to this day, I still have his phone number in my phone, and sometimes I'm tempted to call him or reach out to him. But then I'm like, well, I don't know if I should, you know.
Well, what would that, let's just explore that for a moment, just
Sure,
a brief moment. If you were to call, what would you say? Like, because it might still be on your mind
right,
because it's unfinished business.
right.
So there's some unfinished business, possibly.
No, there
I'm
are
not a therapist.
there is a lot.
I'm
There's
not
a
a
lot.
therapist.
Right.
So what, in terms of what you can share with the public, what is it that you would say
Um.
or do?
Well, our last conversation was basically me apologizing for him feeling that way or making him feel that way. It wasn't intentional by any stretch. But I guess the thing that I would like to explain to him is like, look, man, there's a lot of stuff going on at that time, you know, with the breakup and you know, being remarried and having a young child and having all of these other things circulating, which he knew about, and percolating in my life. Um, I never dismissed him. And so the whole idea of saying, well, I wasn't a good enough friend to him, when I treated him like blood was it was a hurtful thing to me because I'm like, wow, how could you feel that way? But I don't ever discount someone's feelings. It's like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I can't do anything but apologize for my role in how you feel, but at least allow me an opportunity to explain the situation versus just saying, okay, cut and dry. Again, with all of the things that we've gone through, uh, I think he should have known me a little bit better than that. You know, I'm not a person to uh, not include people in things. And had he said, "Hey, man, it would have been cool if you had invited me," I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that you would even want to do that."
Did that topic ever come up where you said, "I'm sorry, there's no excuse. I apologize. How can I make it up to you?"
Never had an opportunity. It was basically, yeah, if you were a friend, you would have done this.
Because then I
I'm done
wonder if
messing
he
with
would have
you.
said, like, dude, you should have invited me to that birthday party because it meant a lot to him, even
Right.
though it didn't. I mean, it meant a lot to you. You're the dad, but
Absolutely. Like,
your
I don't care
assumption,
about this kid. Right.
your assumption was simply different than his, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and again, he was able to tell me how he felt about it, but I wasn't able to come back and like, okay, let me explain to you what's going on. Basically, all I told him was like, I wouldn't think that you would want to be at a birthday party for a 3-year-old. That's kind of, but in retrospect, if I considered him like a family member, okay, I get it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only boy in his family. He didn't have any kids or doesn't have any kids as far as I know, even at this point. So I could see why he would say like,
He
okay,
may have seen
like
your
an uncle
kids
type
as,
of thing.
yeah, as
Exactly.
so important. He valued that relationship
Exactly.
so much
And
more
I never recognized
deeply.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
We were just talking about a friendship breakup.
Mhm.
And if there's anyone else listening who's had a similar experience, when you look back, what would you have done differently, or what advice would you give to people who are going through this now or are in the process of grieving a lost friendship that they don't want to lose?
Well, I tend to break things down, and I tell my kids this to the LCD, the lowest common denominator. And the lowest common denominator for me is all adults are big kids with more money and better toys and better playgrounds. So if I can look at it as someone acting out or uh, reacting to something as a kid would, that generally allows me to take me out of the equation and go, okay, this is about them. Let me understand what they're saying and what they're going through, what they're thinking, and react to that versus saying, versus getting all gruff about it and going and bristling up and say, hey, why would you feel that way and da 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 da. Again, I don't try to discount anyone's feelings. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But let's at least get an understanding because maybe how you feel is based upon misinterpretation of things. And if we can get an interpretation that we both go, okay, maybe I was looking at this wrong, or maybe I didn't see this. Uh, the world moves so fast. There's so much stuff going on. We're not going to catch every single thing. There are some things that are going to slip through the filter. And we go, ah, man, I missed that. So I try to not be so uh, offended when someone else is offended. Let me understand why they're offended, and then I can explain to them what I got out of it or what I was adding to it, and then we can possibly move forward. Maybe moving forward is, hey, there is no common ground, and maybe moving forward is, yeah, you have to be over there in your corner and I'll stay in my corner. But at least we have an understanding of where we're coming from. And I try to handle all people like that. It's harder to handle romantic relationships like that because when it's romantic, there's a lot of emotion and you know uh, and love makes adds that second and third coat on the things that makes things even more explosive, possibly explosive. So I try to again dial it back, say it's not about me. Let me at least try to understand what this person is dealing with and go forward.
Now, you alluded to something about children, the simplicity of how a child might
Yes.
deal with a situation. Now, let's imagine that we're in a love relationship,
Hmm.
but we still behave with the simplicity of childhood,
Hmm.
being very blunt, very direct. I know that I have a young child and he just calls it like it is. And there's nothing complicated to a child.
That's the beauty of children.
They speak with confidence.
There's no sin shame. There's no filter.
No, absolutely none. So I'm going to do something that is going to offend you. We'll pretend to be offended, but we will deal with this as though we were children.
Hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
You made me wait 30 minutes. I've been sitting at this restaurant and I've been sipping on water, looking like a complete idiot by myself, looking as though I've been stood up. And here you are showing up 30 minutes late. I'm really annoyed.
I completely understand that. I would be annoyed as well. I don't like to waste people's time.
Break.
Yes.
You're 5.
Oh, okay.
Let's try it again. Redo.
All right. I was playing with my Hot Wheels, and they're kind of important to me, and I didn't want to let it go.
Your Hot Wheels? Do you have them
Yeah.
with you?
I
Did you bring them?
left them at home because I was
You
coming
didn't
to
bring
see
your Hot Wheels.
I was coming to see you
But you made me wait, and now you didn't even bring the toys that you were playing with?
because I don't want to have something interfering with my focus. I
Man,
want to focus on you.
you suck. Next time, you know what? We're good. Let's just get out of here and let's just go and play with those Hot Wheels because I love those. My mom won't get me any.
And I tell you what, we can go play with the Hot Wheels, and I have my mom make us some dope grilled cheese sandwiches. Because grilled
Yeah.
cheese sandwiches is where it's at. And then we'll do our
Yes.
dance
Woo.
and stuff, the grilled cheese dance.
Awesome. The simplicity of kids, right?
It is.
Easy to forgive,
Hmm.
easy to get upset, easy to laugh. Easy emotions. They just come out. They're unfiltered and they're not judging.
And the one difference, and I know I say that adults are just big kids, but the one difference that we adults have over kids is we're able to prioritize things. Kids, what's important to a kid is what's in their hands or in their focus at that particular time. So an adult, we can put our phones away and we can say, okay, I was busy doing this and made you wait. And that was stupid. Maybe next time I don't do that, or say, I can do whatever I'm doing later, or push it back and go attend to this beautiful woman sitting there at a restaurant waiting for me. That's where I think we mess up in our relationships. We tend to prioritize in the wrong direction and take things that aren't that important and make them more important than what they are.
Are you saying that the human element should be, in your opinion, more prioritized than work or You think like should
Absolutely.
it be the romantic relationship or the parental relationship, like parent child? Like what's the one that wins? What's the love relationship that ends up winning?
Well, as a parent, um, you're always going to be a parent. You may not always be in that romantic relationship, um, but you have to be able to uh, split the two. There's a different level of priority between the two. Um, my entire life is scheduled because I am busy. I'm always busy. Everything's on my phone, my calendar. It's in the cloud somewhere. Uh, but I have to schedule everything because my daughter has stuff that she has to do. Uh, Spouse has stuff that she wants to do. So I can't just say, well, I'm going to do podcasts and perform and all of that, and later for you bums, it's all about me. That would be foolhardy. That'd be stupid. So I have to plan everything.
Hmm.
And sometimes if there's a gig that comes up that I really want to do and my daughter has something else going on, I'll have to back out of that gig because right now at 9 years old, my daughter is more important than that. Whatever memories I build to her are more important than that. And a lot of the stuff that I do is after she's asleep to make sure it doesn't interfere, which is the beauty of being a comedian. It doesn't interfere with what she does. And that's the main thing. I can't interfere with what she does because these are I'm the guy that she's going to uh, compare all other men to. And if I'm not around and I'm absent and some other guy comes along, you know, with a cooler rap than I have, and spends more time with her, she's going to look at that as her comparative person. And that guy could be a complete jerk to her. And
I'm
I don't
really
want that.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, no,
I'm really, really glad that you brought up the concept of scheduling and being a comic is work. It's
it's a
fun.
lot of
It
work.
may not feel like work, but it's time consuming. It does
Absolutely.
involve an element of performance, just like someone who works in IT or a
Mhm.
consultant or whatever it is that is the job of our listeners. And when you're talking about prioritizing your time and scheduling everything, it sounds like you schedule your personal time as well as your professional time.
Absolutely. You have
And
to. You
yes.
have to. Um, you don't want to make people feel, again, like they're not important, like they're not a priority. And not too many people can handle, I mean, comics divorce all of the time. Uh, a lot of comics, they cheat. I mean, even the great ones. Um, and the reason being is because you generally don't have that support system at home, um, who feels like, okay, you're not putting me first. It's hard to compete with something that is your job that you love, absolutely love. For a lot of comedians, this is their only job. You know, I just happen to be an engineer as well, and I'm good at that as well. I'm really good engineer. So I have engineering, I have comedy, and both I'm good at, and I don't want to give up comedy. But if it came down to it, between that and uh, putting someone that I'm supposed to, not supposed to, that I feel is important to me, um, I have to be able to split that time, and it's hard. It's very hard. The fortunate thing is, again, a lot of what I do is at night and late at night, and it generally doesn't interfere a lot with what I'm doing with the family and all. But it's if I didn't have this scheduled, I'd lose it. There's no way I could keep up with the schedule I have.
Hmm.
No way.
Can we switch gears just for a second?
Absolutely.
I would love to put you
Let's do it.
in a hot seat, play out like a little game where
I'm so cool. I'll never be in a hot seat, just so you know.
sounds good. So if I was to say, so if we were to do the good and the ugly of various love related topics. So if I call out the love topic
Mhm,
and then you've got to give me the beautiful of it,
mhm.
maybe in one word or two words, really succinct,
Okay.
and then give me the ugly of it.
Okay.
And then I'll give you the next type of love, and you give me the beauty of it and the ugly of it.
Let's go. I'm ready.
You ready? Okay.
I'm
Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. Heartbreak.
Sadness. Tears. Regret. Yeah. And just thinking. Always constant. Just the constant what ifs. What did I do? How did I do it? What could I have done differently? Just questioning yourself.
All right. The good of dating.
The newness. The showing your best person.
The ugly of dating.
The newness. Pretending to be the best person.
Marriage, the best part.
Having someone on your team that you're building something with, building something positive.
Marriage, the worst part.
Not having someone support you and on your team and that's about it.
The in-laws, the best part of in-laws.
Oh, how funny they can be, how cool they can be. It's expansion of your family, your close family to now a bigger family. I like that.
The worst of in-laws.
Buttoning your business when you don't ask them to.
The best of divorce.
Happiness. People understanding like this isn't for me and I don't want to spend any more time wasting it.
The worst of divorce.
When kids are involved, it can be tough.
The best of friendship.
Inside stories.
The worst of friendships.
When they don't pay their rounds. I'm tired of paying all of the rounds. They get kicked down. All of my friends I hang around people that I enjoy being around. So I don't have anything bad about it. Other than the ones that don't pay their rounds. Chip in, man. You have a job. Come on.
All right. You've got already some ideas, and it sounds like it's completely written, your play, your musical.
It's written in my head. I have to put it on paper now.
Okay. Now, if we were to write from scratch, actually, no, let's not even write it. If we were to simply sing a song of love, so if we were to just invent a love song, Love Behaving Badly is the title of the song. Okay. It's a duet.
Okay.
It's a duet, and you and I will get into this.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start since I instigated it, and you'll just follow along. Yeah.
All right. Love Behaving Badly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just start at the beginning of the song.
Let's do it.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Shooby dooby doo, ba 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 ba.
Love behaving badly.
Your curled up feet makes me sadly
Wanna vomit all over the couch.
Your toenails make me go ouch.
You better cut 'em before I leave off this couch.
Coincidentally, I have clippers in my pouch.
Clip, 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 clip.
Now you can shave the hair upon your lip. Baba Scooby-Doo.
Oh my gosh, this is an awful disaster. Can I cheers you? Cheers to the worst debacle in the whole world.
That is truly Love Behaving Badly.
Oh, that was just love song gone badly.
See, I think if we had auto-tune, I think that would be a chart topper. That would be a chart topper.
All
at least in
the
like
clipping
7
toenails.
countries. 7 countries nowhere near here.
Nowhere.
Nowhere
In
near.
countries no one's ever heard of.
Right, exactly.
That are not even on the maps.
That was fun.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, we're so done.
You have a nice singing voice.
Oh,
too,
thanks. I gotta get over that. Awful. That was so bad. So next time we'll rehearse.
We will.
Next time I would love to do a skit. Actually,
That would be great.
a skit like like a musical, like a little brief moment of a musical moment.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Yeah. And by then you may have had some drama classes under your belt.
And I might bring in some poetry.
That would be fantastic.
To read for the audience.
Now, the ultimate lesson behind love behaving badly, the ultimate lessons or advice from Mr. Geeter.
For love well, don't behave badly in love. That's the simple thing, Everyone deserves it. Everyone needs it and wants it. Just try to be your best person and afford that other person in your relationship an opportunity to mess up and apologize. And even if they don't apologize, be a big enough person to go, you know what? I still love this person. This is a flaw because we all have them. Mine is I don't put all my clothes in my hamper. I just throw them around the hamper. So they're kind of like satellites.
So you move the hamper?
Hey, when I'm ready to wash clothes, I put them in the hamper. That's how that works, right?
Okay.
So just everyone has flaws. Just give that other person an opportunity.
So what you're talking about really is forgiveness.
Exactly.
Yeah. So forgiveness.
Be a bigger person. Be a bigger person.
Be a bigger person. Forgive quickly. If you are working and wanting a personal life that is a valuable one, make sure that you have some sort of scheduling mechanism.
And that's for anyone. You don't have to be as busy as I am, but you should have time for your beloved to do something with them. I like to go to the DIA. I like to come over here, to Windsor and walk along the riverfront. Just spending time doing whatever. It doesn't matter. If that person loves you and you love them, that time together is everything.
And if you are a boss who feels alone and alienated at work because your employees get along so well and you've been doing such a great job at leading them and being such a great leader that they have a very strong sense of cohesion, what advice would you have to that longing that the boss has to build collegial relationships but is stuck alone at the top?
Wait for my play, my musical, and I will have songs for you that will make you feel better about not. No, as a boss, just a boss relationship is like any other relationship that you'll have, romantic and otherwise. Just be understanding, be cool, don't be a bossy boss. Understand that those people have lives outside of your company, and that how you react to them and treat them is that's going to gauge how much they want you around or want to be near you. Best place to see how popular a boss is at Christmas parties. Because if the employees don't want to sit at their table and it's just a bunch of managers together, those guys are bad bosses. It's easy. It's easy. Any cool boss, their employees will want to sit with them.
So what would make a better boss, perhaps, would be, well, there are a number of things. People don't leave jobs, they leave the leadership, right?
Absolutely.
They leave a person. Now, if the boss is envying the relationships among the staff, then perhaps they should be scheduling personal time as well. Perhaps they should be focusing on some more inner joy or relationship building in their personal life.
You're right. I've been a manager. I hate to say manager. I've been a leader at jobs, several jobs that I've had. And the one thing that I found is if you take the time out to get to know your employees and spend time every week talking to them about their goals and their hopes and their dreams, it humanizes a boss. A boss is, to me, is no different than a stapler or a computer. They're only needed when I need them. You know, they're not someone that I would just go to and just, hey, let's hang out in your office and
Like a
kick it.
stapler
Yeah,
or a
right,
pen. Like,
right, exactly,
hey, I'm going to
right. You,
just for the hell of it, I'm just
right,
gonna
right.
hang out.
They're just items. They're resources. And that's why there's a human resource, group. Humans, we're just resources, like computers and chairs and staplers and calculators and all. And if you can humanize that as a manager, as a leader, humanize yourself, your employees will skyrocket. They'll do whatever you want. So in essence, that's love behaving badly in a way, because I don't see that relationship as any different than a relationship with my kids, um, relationship with a spouse or a girlfriend or whatever. It's just the differences between that is the level of love
Of course,
or romanticism.
love is on a continuum,
Exactly.
and you've got liking, and then you've got the long-lasting, deep, committed love
Exactly.
that people who've been married for 50 years have,
Exactly.
right? So it goes from I guess tolerance would also be part of the love continuum. Tolerance.
Yeah, we can throw it in there, but usually bosses aren't even on that love continuum. They're just like, it's a guy that signs my paycheck. And that's, who wants to be known as that? You're just the guy that signs my paycheck. That's kind of So anyway,
Well, is there any last word that you would like to speak?
boy.
A last word? Just
Well,
one
one word.
one. Just one word. Hot seat. Emote.
Emote, people.
Express.
Don't be afraid.
Emote. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
joining
me. This
us.
was a blast.
Thank you so much for talking about love behaving badly with me.
I anytime. Yeah, that's one of my favorite topics.
Excellent.
I'm not afraid of it.
Oh my goodness. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Please, if you want to have some access to more content, go to Next Best Comic on Facebook, or you can also visit our website at nextbestcomic.ca. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Next Best Comic with Dr. Lynn.